All right, good morning, Rabbi Isai. How's everybody doing? Start off with an email to explain the Eli Neshama, Aliyah Nechama. Hi, Rabbi Stefansky. Hope you and your family are doing well. I sent you a picture of my 4-year-old copying my husband learning the daf at the dining room table. So a couple months ago, I reached out to you about my mother, Miss Ruthie Dahan, who was in need of Rachmi Shamayim from COVID. Unfortunately, she was nifteris, and today, Tuesday, is her shloshim. Our family went through a lot. My brother was nifter from COVID. The same day, my mother went into the hospital. So she never knew about his ptira. Well, now she does. So if you can please have my mother in mind today when you're giving the Shiur, Daf Yomi, Rachel Esther Bas Mordechai, Shama should have an aliyah. May bench you with continuous hatzlacha. May you never know of such tsar, ksiva v'chasim toiva, Mrs. Levine. Unbelievable. So, Linish Masimi Marasi Rus Bas Mordechai, Aliyah Nechama for Rachel Esther Bas Mordechai, and his son who was nifter 4 months before, I mean back then, Rav Chaim Yecheskel Shrago ben Yitzchok Yaakov Shmiras. The neshama should have an aliyah. So, as I said, yesterday I received 6 different things. Call them presents. We received a new, it was a gift, a new audio system. We're not using it yet, but we should be up and running with it tomorrow, hopefully. And then, from all the gifts, they're all beautiful gifts. One thing that I really, really touched me, Rabbi Dambi came to my house with a new one. So now we're all set to go. I don't have to worry, use a mask or anything like that. So this is amazing. Ishkoyach. This is from Benjamin Schwartz. I hope all the items made it without getting destroyed. We quadruple wrap the cups. Here are the cups. I don't know if you could see them. I'll take one. However, that's called. I know you always joke that you can't say anything as people will send it to you. Here are the cups and the napkins, all from the seam. This is how they went all out on the seam. And the bag. Oh, the bags, everything. You should see this box. The box was literally this big, 100 bags. The Olam is welcome to take bags. I didn't bring a lot of them, but we will have. This 5-pound seam. Here it is. The mug, the napkin that matches the mug with the logo. Unbelievable. So he says, I know you always joke that you can't say anything as people send it to you. However, that's because it's only your tangible way of saying it's our only tangible way of saying thank you. Your love for the daf is palpable and allows us to have a piece of that feeling. Okay, I'll skip that. I can't imagine how you... Okay. Fine. So may Hashem grant you with koyach to keep going for many, many years to come. Best regards, Benjamin Schwartz from the 5 towns. Yishkoyach Benjamin. Now, he said that I can't say anything. So we should compile a list of things I can't say. It started out, I can't say Hashem's name, and then I can't make fun of my wife, and I can't make fun of my kids. It's like a bunch of isurim. So here, yesterday I said the baba maisa, maybe it was perhaps a baba maisa for my bubby. We said you can't drink semi-cooked water. So this is from Rabbi Schoenberg. We miss him. He should come here to the Beis Medrash. He writes here, I'm writing in defense of grandmothers. You mentioned a baba maisa in connection with grandmothers. This paraging is actually based on a mistake. It's always been a Jewish way to respect grandparents in any way and anything they say. Bekitzer, a little musar from our Kohen Zaken. Bekitzer, the term baba maisa, meaning a piece of fiction, has nothing to do with baba, meaning grandmother. The origin is the first fiction book written in Yiddish in 1507 in Italy. And here's a picture of the book. It's called Baba Dantona. Bekitzer, that's where the baba maisa started from, but it has nothing to do with the baba. It has to do with some sort of soldier or whatever. It was secular face. Okay, so put it on the list. I can't say baba maisa anymore. And finally, I received a stender, a tabletop stender, beautiful tabletop stender from Eichler's, all within the same day. The flowers from South Africa for my wife. What else? What am I missing? Oh, the glasses from Texas. Don't forget those. A piece of Texas. Thank you so much for teaching me Gemara and Masechtas Shabbos. You've had a tremendous impact on my life and learning, and I highly doubt I'll ever be able to repay you for. Every day I get an enormous amount of inspiration from you and your shiur and all you do for myself and the MDY family and Klal Yisrael. HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless you with strength to continue to spread Torah throughout the world and to continue Mechayel Chayil until Mashiach comes. Yomi Eruvin. Amen. This is from Harry Shalom from Los Angeles. Yishar Koyach Harry. Today is Daf Lamed. This is another thing they gave out, these little markers. It's not about the Daf, it's about the Yomi. Daf Lamed. Daf Lamed. You hear what's going on here, Rabbi Say? Number 30. I'm not saying it's 30 Dafim, but number 30. We're holding 5 lines to the bottom of Chav Tes Amud Beis. Omer Rav Yehuda Shmuel. We just had the other day that Shmuel told Rav Yehuda, Shinino, you're the sharp one. His most famous Talmud, I would have to say. Omer Rav Yehuda, Omer Shmuel. Kol shu lifton, anything that accompanies the bread. Let's say peanut butter that goes together with the bread. Kedei lechol boy, enough peanut butter to smear on the bread. So you don't need, let's say bread, you need two pieces of bread, whatever the Suda is, 4 pieces total. You don't need that amount. 2 teaspoons of peanut butter, whatever you smear on the bread. So it's a much lesser shear for muzzing shtei Sudas to make an Erev with. Basachai, Carpaccio, what? Kol she'eni lifton, thank you. Kol she'eni lifton, kidei lechol emenu. Basically, what you're telling me is that all those days that you weren't here, which was 5 months, I skipped a lot of words. But I got it from Yossi Klein from Lakewood. He tells me afterwards. Now, if it's not something that accompanies the bread, it's the actual food itself, it's the steak. Last night we decided, how big of a steak do you need? Since the Siyum in New York, in Flatbush, the steaks were 64 ounces. So from then on, meat is 64 ounces. So you have to have 2 64-ounce steaks if you want to make an Erev out of steak. If it's raw meat, Carpaccio, what you eat, however much you eat from that on a sitting. Basar tzali. Now we have a machlokes in roasted meat. Rabba Omar, to eat it together, because roasted meat, I guess you eat together with a pita, you eat it together with a piece of bread. So it's not the amount of meat, it's the amount of meat that goes together with the bread. It's a very small amount. It's a sandwich meat, it's a slice, whatever it is. Certainly not 64 ounces. Rav Yosef Amar, no, even roasted meat, it's the amount that you eat a full meal, 2 meals of this roasted meat. Amar Rav Yosef Amin Allah, I can prove it to you. The Hani Parsoi, in our days we'd call them Americans, let's say. The Hani Parsoi, achlet haveke beloy nahama. You know, you go to the shmorg in America, nobody washes. Chas v'sholom. If you wash, you waste your appetite on bread. You eat the meat straight. You keep on eating. Like you go over the shmorg, you put your mouth in, the guy fills it up. Achlet haveke beloy nahama. They eat this roasted meat without bread. Shalom aleichem. What, we're going to bring a riot from these fressers? We said yesterday, you can't really prove from, okay, but at least, Tais points out, what they're doing is okay, in their place, but you're not going to make a halacha and tell you, set the Erev limits based on what they do in Paras. But nan, big day aniyim la'aniyim, when it comes to Tumah, more specifically, Tumas Medris, it has to do with what type of person, where you rank in society. If you're an ani, so then we go, your beged is going to be 3 fingers by 3 fingers. That's how big the piece of cloth is, right over here. That's considered chasher for you. It's chasher for you. It's a beged, mikabel tumah. But if you're usher, it goes by 3 fists, by 3 tfachim by 3 tfachim, much larger. Anything less than this, they throw away. And then it says, bigdei ashirim la'ashirim, aval bigdei ashirim la'aniyim loy. Now these are very difficult words. Daf Lamed Amud Aleph on the top. Aval bigdei ashirim la'aniyim loy. Bigdei ashirim, we said, means 3 tfachim by 3 tfachim. So that's not good for ani. What, all of a sudden ani is a beser mensch? She needs more than this? Obviously not. So what does it mean? You have to stick in a word. Aval bigdei ashirim la'aniyim loy tzarich. They don't need 3 by 3. They could go lower. Look at Rashi for a second. Aval bigdei ashirim la'aniyim loy, says Rashi, koloimar. Anytime Rashi says koloimar, means that we have a big problem with the wording. The words are just not, they just don't fit. Something's wrong here. Koloimar la'aniyim loy be'inim bigdei ashirim. Okay. V'chi teima. Hachal lechumra v'hachal lechumra. So what are you asking me? So Nachamal, so you see from Aniyim that it goes by each individual. If you're Ani, it's like this, Asher like that, in Paris like this, over there like that. So, right, right. That's why for Ani, this is very valuable. So for the rest of the world, you need a lot less meat. You don't need the amount of paras. Paras, they eat a tremendous amount because they're not eating the bread. They're eating straight meat. But the rest of the world, their Eruv should be the lesser amount, whatever you put in a sandwich. A quarter of the amount, whatever it is. V'chit heima, perhaps you'll say no. You know why? V'chit heima hachal l'chumra v'hachal l'chumra. We made a chumrah by Eruv. We said, go with the larger amount. Why not? We like to be machmir on people. Why should I let the guy off the hook with a slice of pastrami? It has to be 2 pounds, whatever you eat at a shmorg, not what you eat with bread. So that's a chumrah for Eruv. Hachal l'chumra, when it comes to tumah, we're going to say that even a small amount is mekabel tumah. That's a bigger chumrah than saying a larger amount. Even the smaller beged is mekabel tumah. V'hachal l'chumra, and when it comes to the Eruv, I'm also going to be machmir and say, in order to make an Eruv kosher, I need a ton of meat. Don't be stingy and give me one piece of meat. But that's not true, says the Gemara. If a person is Rahman al sick, he can barely eat. So his Eruv is a tiny amount. Ularafton, a big fat fresser. So let's take off that other word. A big fresser. Bisuda Beininis. Yeah, those guys that go to Papagayo every Sheni v'Chamishi, all you can eat buffet. So what? He's going to go with a little piece of meat. That's his suda. He needs a serious suda. 6 types of meat. V'chulu. But it says no. L'ravtam b'suda beininis shel kol adam. Yes, based on what he needs a tremendous amount. But he gets away with a tiny suda that an average human being, a short little guy, an average guy, that's his suda, that's the Rafton suda. So, fresser, big meal. Not a fresser, like my kids. I have 2 boys that are a meal for them, Shabbos meal, anybody invited us knows, slice of challah. That's it. 0, not a dip. Well, one kid puts a little salt on it. I'm not exaggerating. Beloy guzma. Although one of them is digging into my kokish cake. That's a big problem. So, but when it comes to Eruv, we don't care about this guy. We don't care. There's the medium guy. In other words, it's likula. This is Gemara Kashya. It's a big Kashya. Rav Yosef says that we base it on parsim. And parsim eat a lot of meat. Over here we see that we go likula by Eruv. Eruv goes likula, whatever the lower amount is, that's what we take, not the parsim amount. Ask the Gemara, Umi Amar Rav Shimon Elazar Hachi, that a rafton, a fresser, there must be a better word for that. A who? Okay, fresser. Beinoni. Don't ask for a better word for that. An eater. No, you're right. It is a glutton. It is a glutton. You're right. It's pasnished. The Rebbe in Beis Yitzchak didn't say glutton. He said the fresser. Finished. End of the story. You didn't get it. This is better for the dictionary, and this is better for what pass over here, like the word pass. Not a good one. All right. That even a person that eats a lot, he goes the medium meal. Listen to this, Rabbi say, okay, so you have a mace in a house. Everything we know, oil mace, everything in the room becomes tamei. But here's the big chiddush. If the door is closed, everything that's on the other side of the door, underneath the door jamb, is tamei, because we say that you're eventually going to take the mace out of there, so it's tamei now. Now, how big is this door? He needs a door the size of himself. I found the picture, Rabbi say, not joking. Here's a guy taking him out of a house. He weighs like 700 pounds. So they literally, here you can see what the window looked like. There's 2 windows. Crane, you need a crane. They took the guy out like this. Pischoy kimaloi. So this would be the size. You need this size for this mace so that this jam right over here, everything's tummy. But this little window right over here, not tummy. Mamish, I don't know. Yeah. So Abai says, okay, don't bring me a raya from this mace. What do you expect him to do? What you want him to slice him up thinly and take him out the front door? It's a physical thing. He is going to go out from that giant door. You have to create a larger opening for him. That's where you take him out. Rav Shimon ben Elazar said that this rafton, or even this guy that's coming out of the door, this call him whatever you want, Zaftik Yid, coming out of the doorway has to be his size. Does anybody argue on it? Yes. Tashma. Referring, it's not referring to the oig in Tanakh, referring to Shaquille O'Neal, giant guy. Pischoi ba'arba. Oh? So, 4 tfachim. Obviously, this guy's not 4 tfachim. So what do you see from here? They're mechulik. You don't need a 5-foot wide, or I don't know, big 10-foot wide opening. 4 tfachim is enough. Says Gemara, not a good raya. Hasam dikip psachim ktanim tuva v'kechad ha'arba. You're talking about a house that has many openings, smaller ones. One of them, the largest one, is 4. If a guy is going to enlarge an opening, he's going to start with the largest one that he has so far, and go, that's why that 4 tfachim we're saying is enough. In the name of Rav, Ma'arvin bebasar chayi can make an eruv with raw meat. We have the big schos of having 2 world famous chazanim that listen every day on Zoom, Simon Cohen and Dov Farkash from Australia. Simon Cohen is from Iran. We saw in the video. The kids they probably understand this. I don't. I never asked Simon. I think I did ask Simon once about this beitzim chayos, raw eggs. It's known that chazanim do it. Whether or not it's just a rumor, maybe it's just a bava maisa. I have to say bava. I had to say bava maisa. You're not going to take my words away. I'm running out of words. Ma'arvim beitzim chayos. You make an eruv with raw eggs. Vikama. I know the oil is makbid. No, they boil up the eggs today, no? Don't they boil the eggs? What?
Mix it together with vanilla, cinnamon, milk,
and you drink it for... No, thank you. No, thank you. Oh, but you put it with vanilla milk. Okay. How many eggs? Achas, I think it says here. Should have looked it up before. Tosoifer. Oh boy. Is the machlokes, not machlokes? Okay. Sinai Omar. Remember, we had Oike Harim, Sinai, Oike Harim. Sinai is Rav Yosef, Stein, 2 eggs. If a person says, makes a neder, makes a vow, he's not gonna eat any food, mazon, sustenance. He's allowed to drink water and eat salt. So we're going to be using this word, sustenance. It gives you sustenance. It's mazon. Keeps you alive. It's not considered sustenance. Now, yeah, people drink water. They also breathe. But oxygen is not considered sustenance. You can't live without it. You can't live without water. But it's not sustenance. It's not food that gives you sustenance. But everything else is considered sustenance. The Rav Shmuel, Damar Tavayu, Mesechtes Brachas, and Mevarchem Bari Minei Mizonos. Think about the bracha, Mizonos, sustenance. Because Baruch Hu creates sustenance. He says, no, that bracha only applies, Elo, Al Chameshes, Hamin, and Bilvad. They both say, it's for the fight. Now what about watermelon? Watermelon sustenance. We just said, the only 2 things that are not, water and salt. Everything else in the world, yes. So it's a big kasha from Rav Shmuel. Says the Gemara, you asking me kasha from here? If you remember Mesechtes Brachas, we already knocked them out. They're gone. We got rid of Rav Shmuel Shita. So the Gemara, this is an additional question on what they're saying. Omer Rav Huna, ba'omer kol hazan alai. What we're saying in the Mishnah is when a person says kol hazan, he's not saying sustenance. It has to satisfy. There's enough community between sustenance and satisfy. Now I satiated. I feel satiated and satisfied. Satiated is a good word. Yeah, satiated. Ba'omer kol hazan alai. Says Gemara, what? Everything else in the world satiates you? Forget about gives you sustenance, but it satiates you. Rabba, the famous Gemara that we learned, I don't know, I believe it's Kabbalah, this Gemara. When we used to walk behind Rabbi Yochanan, remember those famous fruits from Genoisar by the Kinneret, whatever it was. Right. He had so much oil on his face. If we had 100 Talmidim following him, each one would bring 10. 10 times 100 is 1,000 fruits. If we were only 10 Talmidim, each one of us would schlep 100 fruits. We had 1,000. And we couldn't even carry. The size was huge. And Rabbi Yochanan would eat them all. And he would say, I don't have any sustenance from this. So you see, there's something else called Peres Genoisar that also doesn't provide sustenance. And you're telling me it's only salt and water. So he made a shvuah that it's not a mazon, that it doesn't satisfy him, not that it doesn't give him sustenance. On the satiation part, that's what he said. I'm not satiated. As much as I eat, if you're on one of these diets, the vegetable diet, you eat a lot of you could eat and eat, you still don't feel satiated. It might give you sustenance, but not the satiation. That's what Rabbi Yochanan was saying. Okay, I don't know if I should do this to you. I just want to show you. At 7 o'clock, I did it at 8 o'clock. It was 7 o'clock, sorry. 7 o'clock, right before Shiur. This is not really going to help, but I just want to explain to you that we're going through 8-step Gemara. Simple steps, but we have to halt cup. So let's go about Peh maybe once, and then it'll be easier in the Gemara. I don't know if this will help. Basically, Rav Huna says halacha that if a person says that this bread, kikazeh a lie, I'm making shvuah, I'm not going to touch this kikah, but he says in the lashon of a lie, he means he's not going to have any hana from it whatsoever. Any hana means he can't make an eruv out of it. If he said oichel, I'm not going to eat it, so he can make an eruv out of it. He could have hana of eruv. But if a person says a lie is more like zero hana includes an eruv. Fine. So then the Gemara asks, what? No. How much of the chefza am I answering? Is it only the kikar part, the food part, or everything? A little different. Then we bring a brisa that says that neither kikar. So the Gemara says the brisa is not talking about a lie. Fine, one of those. Now in the brisa it says shalei tameno. It says mafurish. I'm not going to taste it. So you see, the brisa is talking about food. He's not going to eat it, but he didn't say I'm not going to have any anah from it. And then the Gemara says, okay, so if so, a lie is good, right? It is good. So then, listening b'dida. So then the brisa should have a machlokes within itself, whether he said a lie or he didn't say a lie. Why does the brisa jump all the way to kachim? You want to make an nafkamina and what a person says? Does he say zu or he says a lie? Why does the brisa make an nafkamina whether he says zu or it's kachim? Don't jump to kachim. So the Gemara says chesuri mechzera, typical, classic. Yeah, that's what it meant. Okay, so a lie is good. A lie is good. So then, why does Rav Huna say a lie is not good? So finally, step 8 is Rav Huna says it's not good because he holds like somebody else. He holds like Rabbi Eliezer. He has Yeshal Mi L'Smech. Let's see it inside. It's 15 lines. Let's hold cup here. Omer Rav Huna, by the time it goes to 4 lines from the bottom of the Amud, not a big deal. Omer Rav Huna, Omer Rav, Shvuah Shalei Oichal Kika Zu Ma'arvin Loi Ba. This is not a chiddush at all. This it says in the Mishnah. If a person says, I can't eat from this, so he's no different than a nazir that can't drink from the wine, and you could make an eruv from the wine. The person says, I'm not eating this bread, but other people could eat from the bread. Make an eruv. Here's the chiddush. Kikazu alai, he uses the word alai, e ma'arvim loiba. Can't make an eruv with it. Meisvei, hanoidim in akikor, ma'arvim loiba. If a person says, I'm not going to have any anor from this bread, he can make an eruv. Now Rashi explains, all the way in the bottom, that, and he likes that pshat the most, he says that mitzvahs lav lehenois nidnu. Okay, it's a whole Taisus asks on the lav lehenos nidnu. So I'm not having enough from my Eruv, because an Eruv is only, we're going to learn, Eruv is only for a mitzvah, l'dvar mitzvah, not stam for your enjoyment. Memela, I'm not enjoying the bread. I'm making a mitzvah with it. So you can't tell me you can't, even though I'm not allowed to have enough from the bread, but all I'm doing is making an Eruv for a mitzvah. Fine. But this is the Nakuda. If a person says a lie, I'm not going to have any hana from it. Rav Huna says, no Eruv, and the Brisa says, my love, the Omer lie. L'chorah means that he said a lie. Lie. The Omer zu. It doesn't say anywhere in the Brisa they said the word a lie. So I'll just be doichak. I'll say, it could fit in with Rav Huna if I really want to. He said zu. And zu Rav Huna said is okay. If I say I'm not going to eat from it, I could use it as a Rav Huna only says when I say no hana whatsoever. And I'll prove it to you from the Brisa itself. It's talking about not eating, not tasting. But if he says a lie, so what step is this? And over here, step number 4. But mashma, okay, because he said shaloya temeno, I'm not going to taste it. He could use it. And what if he said a lie? I'm not going to have any hana from it. So you can't use it. Continues, the Brisa continues. If you have a piece of bread that's hegdish, I can't make an eruv with it. Why can you make Rabbi Isai, answer, question, why can't I make an eruv with a piece of bread that's hegdish? Because what? Because he can have an ah. Very good, but it's a much better answer. What were you saying? I think what you're saying is better. Because nobody could eat it. No one could eat it. Nobody can make a suda out of it. Forget about that he can have an ah from it. No one in the world could eat it. It's not a suda. Fine. So why are you telling me a case of, he says, he takes a bread from Hegdish, you're jumping all the way to the Beis HaMikdash. Even in our days, there's a case that you can't do it. If a person says, a lie, wouldn't it be a lot better? 2 cases. One case, he says, zu, I could use it as Erev. A lie, I can't use it. Why are you jumping to Hegdish? So what are you telling me? Okay, so I'll go with you. I'll flow with you, says Rav Huna. A lie is a good Erev. Kashi Reisha. In the Reisha, maybe I skipped that spot. I might have skipped that. Anyway, you'll tell me later if I skip. But in the Reisha it says that Loya Temeno, if I don't taste it, then I can use it. Mashma, that a lie is not good. Why does the Brisa use a lotion of don't? He said he's not going to taste it. He's not going to eat it. Just use a lotion of a lie, a much stronger lotion. Says the Gemara, in fact, it does say it in there that what? If a person makes a neder from bread, you can make erev. Even if he said a lie, yeah, when the Brisa says shalei tameno, it means he says a lie and he meant it's as if he said a tameno. In other words, it's in that Brisa. It's just you have to explain it. Rav Huna says if a person says a lie, you cannot use it as an eruv. The Brisa says you could use it as an eruv. Says the Gemara, at the end of the day, Yesh al milismoich, his name is Rabbi Eliezer. The Sayyid Rabbi Eliezer Oimer, Shvush lo yechal kikazu, marvim loiba. Kikazu alai. If a person says, this is our case, if a person says kikazu alai, ein marvim loiba. So you ask me a kasha on Rav Huna? Rav Huna says, like Rabbi Eliezer. Ask the Gemara, step number 9, not in here. Umi Rabbi Eliezer, hachi, vatani zeh klal, adam oiser alatzim ba'yichel, marvim loiba. If a person says that he's not going to eat the bread, he could do an erev with it. So that's pretty much like what we said Rabbi Eliezer says, that you can't use a piece of bread if he says I'm not going to have any anah from it. Rabbi Eliezer says mefurish, Allah, you could make an erev. Only in hegdish you can't. Says Gemara, 3 Tanoim, I'll leave it to Rabbi Eliezer. There's 2 Tanoim that are mechulik what Rabbi Eliezer said. So Rav Huna holds like the Tana that says Rabbi Eliezer said that a lie is no good. And over here it says before, so Rabbi Eliezer said a lie is good. Okay, fine. New sugya. Marvin l'nazir b'yayin says in the Mishnah that even a nazir who can't drink wine can make an eruv out of wine, even though he can't make a suda out of it. Why? What's pshat? Wow, if he's leaving, it's early. No. Okay, we still have 15 minutes. It's good. The Sanya Bishama Yoimrim, a Marvim Lenaz B'Yayin L'Yisrael B'Truma. Shammai say no good. A Nazir cannot use wine for an Eruv. An Yisrael cannot use Truma for an Eruv. Beisil oimrim ma'arvim leNazir b'yayin u'Yisrael b'Truma. Beisil are of the opinion that as long as somebody in the world could eat from the Suda, we're good. It doesn't have to be that person himself. Amru lehem Beisil b'Shammai. Here's the argument in the Brisa. Yatem moedim. So we're turning to Daf Amud Beis, sponsored by Dr. Listhouse, Lili Nishmas Mordechai Yosef ben Aaron Listhouse, and by Asher, Lili Nishmas' mother, Roiza Bas ben Yomin, and he says, Rabbi Sai, it's in your...
Great day.
Very good, but it has to be better than that. What's the better way? It's in... You have the ability to choose. No, I'm adding ad-libbing. I want to explain what he's trying to say here. Not stop, make it great. Make it great. It's not a movie line. He's saying, Rabbi Isai, you get up in the morning. It's up to you. It's you. You can't blame the world. It's up to you. Don't be a what? Don't be a fresser. It's up to you. You want to be a fresser today? Be a fresser. You can make it a great day and just be healthy. Fine. You hear this, Rabbi Isai? A guy's allowed to walk on Yom Kippur if he makes an Eruv. But he can't eat the Eruv. What kind of Eruv is it? Huh? But it has to be Suda that he could eat. A Nazir also, he could eat it later. He'll drink it later. Oh. So you see, Beisil tel B'Shammai, you see, you don't have to be able to eat it right then and there. Omer le'en Avol. You're 100% right. Yep. On Yom Kippur, you could. If it works for an adult. On Yom Kippur, even though he can't eat it, so what's the difference? Yisrael can't eat the truma, somebody else will eat it. But what's the point? Why on Yom Kippur could a gadol eat it? Because a katan could eat it. So no, but it's not him. It's his kid. It's his neighbor's kid. So too, it's not me. It's Rabbi Schoenberg who gave me Musar. He'll eat it. He'll eat the truma. So the Gemara, Beishamai, Hosam, Ikasuda Haruya Mebaid Yoim. Yom Kippur, I could eat the meal beforehand, right before Mebaid Yoim. It's never right for this person, and the story, it's not in his, I don't know what the word is, it's not in his category. This Yisrael can never eat truma in his life. But this meal was right from before, so it's his meal. Punkt today, he can't eat it, okay. There's another sheet in Beishamai that says something very interesting. The Sanya. According to Chananya, there's no such thing as Eruv. It's more like Iru Mekomarim. It's like selling chametz before Pesach to the guy. You're making a trick here. You have to bring your tools, your socks, your suits, your hat. You have to bring everything to your Makim Shvisa. You can't just say, oh, I put an egg, so I live 2,000 amas away from my house. Shalom Aleichem. That's your house, really? Because you put an egg there? No, you want to make your house? Bring your bed, your sheets, your couch, everything, your computer, the whole thing. Says the Gemara. So Mela, we don't hold them in there. If you do that, if you're going to mamish build up your house over there, then fine. If a person made an Eruv in a black suit, he shouldn't walk out with his, I told you guys about that shul in the Ir Ha'Tikah. I have no idea, I saw it 20-something years ago with my brother-in-law Nachi. We walked in there, everybody's in white. White streimels, white kapatas or beketches, I don't know what it was, everything in white. If you made an Eruv in black, basically what it means is, if you made an Eruv with your gym shoes on, it doesn't mean black and white. It just means Shabbos, not Shabbos, weekday, not weekday. Yeah? Or like talking about streimels. So if you're a chassid and you make your Eruv with a black hat, but you have a streimel for Shabbos, lo yetzi bilavanim. Bilavanim, lo yetzi b'shchar. If you flip it around, you can't go out. Keman, or why? Because according to Chananya, you have to bring all your clothes there. All your stuff. And he didn't bring all the stuff. So if you made the Eruv with one pair of clothing, you can't all of a sudden go back home and change clothing. It's not where it was. It had to be together with the computer and everything else at the Eruv spot, at the Makim Shvisa.
What does it mean? In addition to putting food there, you do clothing
That's exactly what he says. Not only clothing, your bed, everything. That's why Beis Shammai say no Eruv. It really doesn't work unless there is one case that a guy's a nutcase and he brings a moving company, takes everything out of his house and puts it 2,000 amas away from the city, and he says, now I live there. Okay, so basically he moved. It's not an Eruv, he moved. So the Gemara asks a very interesting question. What happened? You're a chassid, and you left your shtreimel at home. So it says, don't bring your shtreimel. Continue wearing your black hat. But your black hat you could wear, but you didn't move. At the end of the day, you have to bring all your clothing, everything, to the Mokim Shvisa. It's mashma that you don't have to. You just can't use what you left at home. You don't have to bring it. It's mashma that you could wear the clothing that you wore while you made the Eruv. Just don't go back and grab your Shabbos clothing. So you look a little funny in shul. But that's about it. It's okay. How could that be? Chananya says you have to bring everything to the Mokim Shvisa. It's not a question whether you're wearing or not. It's a question whether it left your house. If it didn't leave your house, then it's not an Eruv. If you didn't do a complete move, it's not a good Eruv. If you made your Eruv with your black Bieber hat, and now you can't show up to shul in Bieber, they think you're crazy, they think you're not married anymore, you have to wear your shtreimel. If you need clothing, you need your Shabbos suit, you need your Shabbos shoes, whatever it is, then it's a big problem. Then it's not an Eruv. Okay, so you need those things. The things that you need for Shabbos, you have to bring to the Mokim Shvisa. And you don't have to necessarily wear it, but if you want to wear it, then it ruins the Eruv. Even if you're not wearing it, just needing it for Shabbos, you need your Shabbos clothing, that ruins the Eruv. So we have two opinions in Beis Shammai. Chananya says you need everything. According to Beis Shammai, you need to make an Eruv with something that you physically could eat. That's the regular Beis Shammai. Chananya says not only that, you have to bring your entire house or whatever you need to the makom that you are starting your Eruv from. Sumcha Zomer B'chulin. Sumcha says that a Yisrael cannot make an Eruv out of Truma, he could only make it out of Chulin. Says the Gemara, we mentioned in the Mishnah. There are two cases in the Mishnah. You have a Nazir who's not allowed to drink wine. He's allowed to make an Eruv out of wine. Sumchas doesn't say a word. He's okay with that. Second later, a Yisrael, Tanakama says, is allowed to make an Eruv out of Truma. All of a sudden, Sumchas just, how could he make an Eruv out of Truma? He argues, no, only Chulin. What happened to a Nazir drinking wine? According to Sumchas, a Nazir should not be able to make an Eruv out of wine. Why? My time, Efshar the Mitchell and Nazirus. Nazirus is a nether. It's like any other nether. You go to the Rav, you say, I made a big mistake. I didn't realize how addicted I am to wine. I really need my wine. And Yatir Forest. Just drink the last bottle. No. Rabbi say, do not. I'm warning, do not. Not Moichel. All right. My time, Efshar the Mitchell and Nazirus. This is good. One more of these. Efshar the Mitchell and Izirusi gave me 5 of them in different colors. I can't bring the pink one here. Be'ez Hashem. You know what happened? I was sitting at my table, cleaning lady. Oh, are you crazy? This is the most valuable thing I have in the house. She threw this out. You want to throw out the whatever, throw anything else out. The computer, not this. How am I going to follow every 2 seconds? Fine. Baruch Hashem for Dambi. Where is he? He has to come back. Rabbi said, get him back in the Beis Medrash. He says he's watching us on YouTube. That's what he told me. Oh, Mazel Tov of Dambi. What's the kid's name? Moshe Yosef. You remember the name? Wow. I don't think he got 46 calls, but at least one from MDY. At least we know one. What's the problem? You have a bottle of wine over there for the Nerev. What are you telling me? He can't drink it. He could drink it. He'll go to the Rav. The Rav will say, mutalach, 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 whatever they say, and then he's able to drink the wine. So same with truma. Truma, all my produce, I take, we'll say, let's call it 2%. I put aside to the kain. Now, I take that 2% that I was supposed to give to the kain, I make an eruv out of it. You're not allowed to eat it. So I'll go to the Rav, and I'll say, I made a mistake. Those 2 apples, I want to eat them myself. They're juicy, they're yummy. Could I switch it? I'll say, mutalach, mutalach, mutalach. And then you'll be able to eat it. What's the chap? The Gemara says, amazing chap. You can't do that. Why? Then it's not edible. How can you eat it? It's catch-22. If you take it out of truma, then that fruit doesn't have truma on it. If it doesn't have truma on it, you can't eat it. You can only eat fruit after you take trumas and maisris. Says the Gemara, okay, I'm not giving up so easily. Well, I have fruit in my house. And bein hashmashas, when the eruv goes into effect. So we have to focus here. We're talking about bein hashmashas. Remember that. We're talking about when the eruv goes into effect. Let him, because if it's beforehand, so this whole sugya doesn't even start, right? So he has good, so it's not truma. It's on Shabbos, he can't change it. So we're talking about bein hashmashas. Bein hashmashas, as it goes into effect, I'm going to make trumas and maisros on it. I'm going to switch it. I'm going to take my truma from home, in my closet, make that my truma, and now all of a sudden these 2 apples that I just went to the Rav, and the Rav said mutalach, mutalach, becomes mutar to eat because they have trumas and maisros. Says the Gemara, nobody's chashud litroim shleim and amukov on fruit that's not in front of you. It has to be right there and then. You can't take fruit from your house and make it truma on fruit over there by my eruv. Says the Gemara, okay, so you're so worried about fruit not being there. Well, you have 2 apples. Take a little slice off one of the apples to the kain. Shalom aleichem. Says the Gemara, that's what shiur. The apples are exactly, we said, how many apples do we need? A kav. 24 eggs worth of apples. Remember, we said peaches, 5 apples kav. Let's call it 12 apples. Take one of the 12 apples, cut it. But it says Gemara, you can't, because you have exactly 12 apples. So you're going to cut a little slice off the apple. Now you're not going to have enough for 2 sudas. Talking about in a case that has, says Gemara, my pascha. Where did you get that from? What? So the whole Mishnah is talking about a case like that, exact case that he did exact, and we're so worried that somebody's going to have exact, and if he cuts off, in a situation where he went to the Rav and he said, and it's that case, it doesn't make sense. Again, we're talking about bein hashmashas. Well, Sumchas holds you can't make Trumas and Maisros, bein hashmashas. End the story. Shvus, what does Shvus mean? Because we just came from Masechta Shabbos. Shvus means the Rabbanon. So anything that the Rabbanon is Asur, which is one of the things, you're not allowed to take Trumas and Maisros. Why? It's Mesakim Mana. It's like Makim Patish. So Mela, they said it's Asur to do it bein hashmashas. So I'm up creek. I can't do anything. I have fruit here that I can't take truma from, and it's actually truma, it belongs to the kohen, and Memela, I can't eat it. And if I try to annul it, even though I'm not annulling, I could potentially annul it with a rav, but then I'll be left with food that doesn't have truma. And if I try to take truma and maises right now, I can't because it's ben hashmashas. Sumchas holds you can't do ben hashmashas. So wait a minute. So we're discussing now. Does a fresser use a larger meal, a smaller meal, a big person, small person? So it says in the Mishnah, every person depends on his size. So if a kohen is taking from the mincha, from the soiles, from the fine flour, he sticks his hand like this into the flour and goes like that, and he grabs this much. Well, how big is his hand? We once spoke about Shaquille O'Neal, talking about Shaquille O'Neal. He has like a meshunadika hand. Avi once had it, like, 12 inches from side, something meshuggah. Remember, we were learning about it. He has a hand like this big, not exaggerating, like this. So if he's a kohen, in the time of Mashiach, he, and a Stademeyer, so that's a great example. I'm sure his hand is like this big. So if he does the thing, the mincha, his kaimitz is that much bigger than everybody else's. It goes by the person. It's not an average. It's not like an amma that we say, oh, most people from here to here is a certain amount. On Yom Kippur, you go like this with your 2 hands. Tyrus. All about Yom Kippur coming up, Rabbi Isai. You're drinking your mouthful Your mouth. How many? 10 1/4 inches. Wow. Unbelievable. It's like this. Yeah, even more. Zog the Gemara, then you wonder how come he's bad at free throws. And when it comes to a meal, every person, whatever they need to eat. Eli Stefansky, small piece of bread like that. Other guys, Eli Stefansky, like that, whatever. Each person, whatever he eats. Keman Omer Zero, Sumchasi, the Omar, my dechazi le binon. Whatever is good for him, he needs to be the one in charge, whatever it's for him. So, bottom line is like this. According to Chananya Beishamai, an Eruv is only good if you bring your entire house to that place. According to the regular Beishamai, he has to be able to eat it. According to Beis Hillel, it's someone out there has to eat it. And according to Sumchus, he himself, whatever, it's each dependent on that person. Says the Gemara, Lema Pligi Ad Reb Shimon ben Elazar, Desanya. Somebody scream my name, but from his computer. What is he saying? I don't hear him. We're running out of time. Tell me in a second. Hold on. We said that for a sick person, small amount. A person that eats a lot, so it's a problem because now all of a sudden we're not going based on what he's doing. We're not going on based on what he eats. A rafton that eats a ton, his eruv is a smaller amount. What the average person? Says Gemara Targuma achoyla v'zaken. The Mishnah is going on a chayla. He goes with a smaller amount. Of a rafton. So how come the rafton? It should be a tremendous amount. But the daito yetzel kol adam. A rafton, we don't care about a rafton. He's bottle. His das is bottle. Ulakayim bebeis apras. The Omar Rav Yehuda. Did anybody think about that? Kayim beis apras. Real quickly, if a kayim places his eruv in the beis apras, it's a big problem. Why is it a problem? Let Yisrael take it out for him. Anybody think about that? The answer is very simple. Yisrael can't take it out for him because it's his mokim shvisa. It has to be his place of dwelling. So if it's in the middle of a beis hakvaros, a beis hapras, if he can't get there, I can't say, but Yisrael will bring it to you. It's not like eating a meal. This is mokim shvisa. Okay. So we learned the beis hapras that if the kohen puts in the beis hapras, it's okay. Back to basketball. So you remember, this is the case from guy blowing his way through the field. There's a grave that was plowed over and there's fragments of bones. If he really wants, he could get on all four and blow his way to his eruv. If people walked on it back and forth, then there are no fragments anymore. They're so minute that it doesn't matter anymore. Tar, the entire Beis Hapras is tar. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day. What was Avi saying? Anything? What? Oh, you're showing a picture of the hand on Zoom. Okay, shkoyach. Shir Malois. נשמע בקודם זה 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 זה